Hey YouTube, it's Karen San Diego, and today I'm bringing you a video about why I choose to exclusively pump. But before I get into that, make sure you stop what you're doing, hit that red subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can see more videos from me. So I'm choosing to do this video because I feel like there's a lot of confusion about exclusively pumping. Most people, when they think about breastfeeding a baby, they assume that you're talking about latching the baby directly onto the nipple, opposed to bottle feeding breast milk. Like once I talk about, oh, I gotta get the baby a bottle, people automatically assume that I'm talking about formula. But I'm talking about breast milk that was expressed through a breast pump to be given to my baby. And guess what? That's still breastfeeding. So I just wanted to come on here and explain my top 10 reasons why I choose to exclusively bottle feed my child breast milk. So if you watched the video that I had posted, which I will link down in the description box, I had an emergency C-section. And because of my emergency C-section and the fact that since my daughter was not ready to be born, she was not breathing properly when she was first born. So because of that, she had to spend the first few days of her life in the NICU. Now, if you had a C-section, you know that when you have a C-section, you do not get to be with the baby right away. So for the first day after she was born, I was in my room and she was in the NICU and I was not able to go see her. Because of that, for her first day of life, she was fed via formula only. I was not able to try to latch her on. She did not get to do any of that her first day. She was fed by the doctors with a bottle of formula. By the second day, when I was able to go upstairs, they tried to latch her on to my breast. However, my milk had not come in yet. So she latched on pretty decently right away, but quickly jumped off because there was nothing happening. So the doctor suggested they brought a breast pump into my room and told me to keep pumping. Even though nothing was coming out, they wanted me to keep stimulating the nipple so that my body would be aware that I just had a baby and it's time to start making milk. So my milk didn't start coming in for 3 days. During that time, she was getting fed by a bottle in the NICU, and I was trying to pump to try to get something to start happening. By the third day, I started to make enough milk for me to go upstairs and feed her, but first the doctors tried to have me have her latch. Now, because for the first few days she was drinking from a bottle, when it came time to have her latch onto me, she would not latch. She would latch for maybe about a second and then cry or completely just turn her head or close her mouth, which brings me to my next point, which is nipple confusion. So, like I said, because she was in the NICU and I was not able to go and feed her, she was very used to a bottle. So because the milk is flowing fine out the bottle and she's able to drink as fast as she needs to, with me, because my milk had just came in, the milk was not flowing and it became really hard for her to get milk as fast as she wanted to. So when she'd be on there, she would just be fussy, she would cry, she would turn her head, she would just not latch on. And I had the doctor come over try to help me. It just was not working. So instead what I did was I pumped into a bottle, fed her, and then I would still try to keep getting her used to latching onto me, but she just... Which brings me to my next point, which is my baby doesn't like it. So while sometimes she will latch on, she won't drink. She'll just latch on, I guess, for comfort reasons. When it comes to actually drinking, that girl's greedy. She likes to be able to drink and she likes to drink fast. So whenever I try to nurse her, she does not like how slow it happens. And even now that my milk is definitely coming in fast, she just prefers the bottle. So it's her preference, and I'm doing what she asked me to do. However, there was a day of her life, maybe about like a few weeks ago, where she did want to nurse, but that was the worst day ever because she was cranky for the entire day. Because even though she did not want to take a bottle that day and she really did just want to nurse from me, she was not getting enough to be able to be satisfied. So she'd nurse, and she'd nurse for what seemed like hours and just not be satisfied. And that pretty much goes for any time I try to nurse her, and I do try. So don't be like, you're being lazy, you're taking the lazy way out. No, I'm not. First of all, pumping is hard. Second of all, no, I'm not being lazy. I try to nurse her all the time. I have gotten doctor's help, and she just never is satisfied when she is nursing at all, like ever. Like, she will sit there and she will stay latched on for a very long time and just end up crying or just end up really upset, and then I end up in excruciating pain, or I end up like completely engorged still because she's not getting anything out. And it's not because of a lack of milk on my part, because I got milk. but it's because she does not latch properly. Now, the fourth reason why I choose to exclusively pump is because of my anxiety. Now, like I said, with nursing, I have no clue how much she's eating. And when I'm sitting there and I'm trying to nurse her for hours and she seems cranky and she does not seem satisfied, it gives me a lot of anxiety about why I've been feeding my baby for hours and she's not okay. When I'm bottle feeding her, however, I know exactly how much I put in the bottle. I can see exactly how much she ate. And also feeding into all these things kind of feed into each other. So because my daughter was a preemie, she was born early. She was born almost a month early. She was underweight. She was only 4 pounds when she was born. And I like to be able to know how much she's eating so that I can help her catch back up to where she's supposed to be weight-wise. The fifth reason why I choose to exclusively pump my baby is because of shared responsibility. So if you have a baby, if you've had a baby, if you've met a baby, if you've seen a baby on television, you know having a baby is hard. Having a kid in the house is hard. And having a newborn in the house is really hard. So just being able to have someone else help me is a lifesaver. So like, for example, my husband is here, and because I do not nurse, he's able to help me feed the baby, which means that I'm able to get some extra sleep. It means that I'm able to go do something else and I have his help. Or if friends or family are over and I need to just sit down and just have some mommy time, they're able to feed the baby. That frees me up a lot to just take a moment, because taking a moment sometimes, you don't need to feel guilty. It is sometimes so necessary. So my sixth reason is because I like pumping. So now that sounds weird because a lot of people think of pumping, you think, oh, it's hard. You're just like sucking milk out of your nipples. You look like a cow. Like, it has to be uncomfortable, right? And yeah, it's uncomfortable sometimes. For me personally, I think at this point, like, they're numb. Like, I don't feel anything there. But it's fun to me. And not fun in the pain is fun way, but fun in the mental, I'm in competition with myself kind of way. Like, I kind of create my own little competitions, but with myself, with my boobs, I guess, that like, oh, trying to pump more than I pumped last time. And like, if I do this, will I get more milk? And if I do that, will I get more milk? And like, just little brain games to do with pumping. And I also have a lot of different breast pumps. I like trying the different ones out. I'm kind of a hoarder at this point when it comes to breast pumps. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do a comparison video between the many different types of breast pumps that I do have. But yeah, I'm a breast pump connoisseur. The next reason that I choose to exclusively pump is because, unfortunately, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I'm just not popping like that yet. You can help me. You can comment down below and help grow my channel. You know, this algorithm is really difficult. I'm not popping enough on here yet to be able to do this full-time. So I do have to work, and I am a teacher, and that's how I make my money. So I have to go back to work in 3 months when my, what's this called? Maternity leave is over. And at which point Ryan will have to go to daycare. It's not what I want. It's not my choice. I have a lot of anxiety surrounding that, but it is what it is. She has to go to daycare, and I will need to have her be fed at daycare. And I don't want her to be on formula yet. My goal is 1 year. So I'm going to need to be able to give the daycare milk to feed her, which is another reason why pumping just gives me an easier transition to when we start doing that. If I was nursing still, then when it come time to start to bring her to daycare and I have to transition off of that, it would be hard for me to do that. It would be hard for me to then have to transition her off of strictly nursing and then start pumping, and then hard for me to start to mentally get into a space of how much you need to pump realistically to keep a baby fed all day, especially when the baby is not with you. Because right now at home, I pump and I can feed her right after I pump, but when she goes to daycare, I'm going to need to be pumping enough to sustain her when she's not next to me, which is something that right now I can start to do and start to get myself mentally and physically prepared for that. Okay, so my eighth reason why I choose to exclusively pump has nothing to do with nursing. Now, all the other reasons were basically breastfeeding via pump versus breastfeeding via nursing. This one's actually a breastfeeding versus formula one, and that's cost. So, as you know, formula is not free. Breast milk is free. It comes directly out of my body. So it is cost effective to breastfeed, whether you're pumping or nursing. So I want to save my coins. Simple. So my next point is also with the formula versus breast milk thing. Breast milk does have natural antibodies in it that help fight against diseases, that help fight against things like allergies and asthma, and are just overall better for the baby's immune system. Not to say that formula is bad for your immune system. There are some certain formulas that do help with that, but breast milk is just a natural way to do it, and I just prefer to do it the natural way. So the last and 10th reason why I choose to breastfeed my child, and this is the most important one, so come in closer, closer, closer. And that's that it is my baby, therefore it is my choice. When it comes to feeding a baby, whether it comes to pumping or nursing or bottle feeding through formula or whatever it is that you decide to do, remember that fed is best. Feeding your baby is the best way to feed your baby. So whether you choose to be like me and exclusively pump, or if you choose to nurse, or if you choose to formula feed, the most important thing out of all of that is that your baby is fed. Do not let the mommy police try to guilt you into anything that you do not feel is the best decision for you and your child. Your child, your decision. And also, I've said it before in this video, but I just want to make it very clear that pumping is breastfeeding too. Just because it is not coming directly from the nipple does not mean that you are not breastfeeding. And most importantly, it does not mean that you are not bonding with your child, which the mommy police like to say all the time. Like seriously, the pressure in our society to nurse our babies is literally psychologically toxic AF. As moms, we have to make the decision that is the best that we feel is the best for our child. So that is why number 10 out of all those valid points that I had in this video, number 10 is the most important. So that was my 10 reasons. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you choose to feed your child. If you don't have children yet, let me know what your preferred way might be in the future when you do have children. And if you don't have an answer for either of those questions, but you're just watching to support your girl, just give me an emoji in the comments. Show me some love. And until next time, I'll see you on my next video.